Today, we're going to talk about CNC plasma cutting. Let's start with a basic review of electric shock, which we now know can hurt or even kill. CNC plasma cutting machines produce high voltage, so please be careful. David, in front of you are two electrically hot wires, and you know what to do with those, or rather, what not to do. David, the rule is don't touch them. You'll complete the circuit, and David, please don't do that. David, can you hear me? Please don't! Oh, thank goodness. David, that's not funny. Okay, it was a little funny. Now let's review the other safety precautions against electric shock. Appropriate protective clothing, gloves, dry of course. Keep your distance from the workpiece and other parts of the plasma cutting circuit. Take extra precautions when the workplace is damp or moist. David, no! Don't you know it's bad luck to open an umbrella indoors? Now I'm just messing with you. Disconnect the power source before performing any maintenance or repairs. Only a qualified technician should repair or replace any worn or damaged parts. Very good, David. And yes, always read and follow all the instructions in the operating manual. Fantastic. That covers electric shock. Let's talk about gases and fumes. David, I know you're joking this time. Plasma cutting produces gases and fumes that can be very dangerous to your health. First thing is always what? Keep your head out of the cutting fume plume. Always work in a well-ventilated area or use local exhaust to extract fumes. Use an approved air-supplied or powered air purifying respirator if your ventilation is not adequate. How do you know what kind of fumes and gases you'll be exposed to during plasma cutting, you ask? This all depends on the kind of metal being cut, the coating on the metal, and the exact process being used. Read the SDS for the material being cut and any paint or other coating. But it's not just gases and fumes you have to be aware of. Dust created by routing, sawing, grinding, drilling, and other construction activities may also be dangerous, and you should avoid overexposure. I'm afraid that's not really going to help, George. Many of the materials can cause cancer and other health effects if your exposure is not properly controlled. No, David, that's not going to help either. You can use special equipment like downdraft and water cutting tables to capture gases, fumes, and dust at the source. And you should also limit your exposure to these particles by wearing the personal protective equipment we've discussed. You can also be exposed if dust gets on your skin, so wash any exposed areas with soap and water. Now that's sweet. Who's got a camera? Cleanliness is important, but keep in mind that vapors from chlorinated solvents and cleansers can react with heat or radiation from the welding process to produce phosgene gas, which is toxic. So be sure to get rid of any source of these vapors before work begins. Next up, fire and explosions. Fire and explosions can be caused by hot slag, sparks, an oxygen-fueled cutting flame, or a plasma cutting arc. So be careful. I'm not talking about quaint little campfires, guys. This is dangerous stuff. Do not work in an area where combustible or explosive gases or other materials may be present. Remove or protect any flammable materials and ventilate any explosive or flammable vapors or dust from the workplace. Don't cut or weld on containers that may have held flammables or combustibles. Use a fire watcher buddy when working in areas where fire hazards may exist. The fire watcher may see a fire that you don't because you are welding. Do not cut aluminum alloys underwater or on a water table unless you have a way to eliminate or dissipate the hydrogen gas that can be formed when cutting aluminum alloys. Trapped hydrogen gas will cause an explosion if ignited. It's very dangerous. Plasma cutting and CNC operation can cause very loud noise levels that can damage your hearing. Protect your hearing with earplugs and/or earmuffs. Noise should be measured to be sure it does not exceed safe levels. I said, noise should be measured to make sure it does not exceed safe levels. Noise should be measured to make sure it does not exceed safe levels! Oh, for heaven's sake. Let's move on to protecting your eyes. The plasma arc process produces very bright ultraviolet and infrared light. These arc rays will damage your eyes and burn your skin if you're not properly protected. This is where the cool helmets come in. Make sure you have the proper shade in your helmet and wear safety glasses with side shields, goggles, or other protective eyewear. There are lens shading guidelines that you can reference at lincolnelectric.com, such as Z49.1. Because it's computer controlled and very precise, CNC plasma cutting may seem contained and clean. However, metal cutting and marking operations can create a lot of dust and flying debris. Protect others in your work area from both UV and infrared light, as well as flying debris by using booths, screens, or shields. Welding and plasma cutting produces EMFs. Keep the torch and work cables together as much as possible and away from your body. Though the long-term health effects of EMFs are unclear, we do know that EMFs can affect defibrillators and pacemakers. So if you have either of those, be sure to consult your doctor. CNC plasma cutters are big, heavy machines with lots of moving parts. Watch out for gears, belts, drive screws, and drill bits. The machine moves automatically and sometimes can move without warning. Beware of crush points. Keep loose clothing and cables secured and safe from moving parts. These machines and their components are heavy. Use proper lifting technique and team lifting when necessary. Certain tools use compressed air lines. These lines are under pressure. Hot sparks or flying debris may cause damage. Ensure these air lines are kept free from punctures, burns, or other damage or defects. Inspect compressed air lines periodically and repair or replace when damaged. Be sure any compressed air guns used for cleaning meet OSHA or your local authority's requirements for pressure chip guarding and noise. Never place an air gun nozzle or direct the airflow toward your body. That can cause an air embolism which can be fatal. And last but not least, remember that an oxygen-fueled cutting flame can reach temperatures of up to 6,330 degrees Fahrenheit, while plasma arcs can reach up to 45,000 degrees. Materials will be extremely hot after they've been cut, so wear protective gear, use a material handling apparatus, and wait for materials to cool completely before attempting to move them. Don't worry, guys. As a cartoon character, Stu is fine. But remember, only trained individuals should work with, on, or near CNC plasma cutters. Hello, David. We are going to talk about cutting system safety. Most accidents can be prevented with proper handling of equipment and regularly scheduled maintenance. Always take all the proper safety precautions and follow all guidelines. That's your first line of defense. David, since discipline isn't exactly your strong suit, we've brought in a drill sergeant and your mother-in-law to help keep you in line. We're going to be reviewing the safe handling of cylinders, regulators, and torches. Most accidents involving welding torches are the result of reverse flow. When the torch fuel gas enters the oxygen stream, or when oxygen enters the fuel gas stream. These gases are meant to mix at the tip of the torch only, and when the gases mix in an unwanted place, it's like running into your mother-in-law at a dance club. Not only awkward, it could cause a fire or even explosion. So on second thought, it's nothing like that. It can be much worse. When these gases mix in the wrong place, a small spark or extreme heat can cause a fire that can severely burn you or even an explosion, which can kill. There are several things you should always keep in mind to prevent reverse flow. First, never fully empty an oxygen cylinder. Once you reach about 50 psi, consider your oxygen cylinder tapped out. If the pressure becomes too low, you have a potential for reverse flow if your fuel gas pressure is low. An oxygen tank is like your mother-in-law's glass. Never let it become empty. Refill or replace it. Second, bleed your hoses independently by quickly opening and closing each valve one at a time before lighting a torch. This will bleed off any combustible mixture in the hoses or regulators. Remember, the oxygen line is green and the fuel line is red, and the valves are threaded differently. This is all to help you remember which is which and not to mix or confuse them. Use the correct tip size for the pressure you're using for your application. Small tips with too much pressure can cause reverse flow and push mixed gases back into the line. Large tips with not enough pressure can cause flashback. And keep your tips clean. A clogged tip can cause reverse flow too. Sergeant, that's not really necessary. Many torches have check valves installed between the hoses and the torch handle. These prevent reverse flow. However, they must be maintained regularly. If they malfunction and reverse flow occurs, they will not stop a fire or explosion. Flashback arresters can also be installed. These prevent a fire from working its way back up into the gas lines. Again, they need to be checked regularly, or else they may not work properly. Here are some basic protocols to follow when setting up your equipment. 1. Chain cylinders in place to keep them from falling over. Vent the oxygen cylinder by briefly opening and closing the cylinder valve before attaching the regulator. This blows any dust or dirt out of the cylinder valve. Check the regulator inlet for dust and dirt. This can be fuel for a fire. Get rid of it. Open the oxygen cylinder valve slowly and stand to the side when doing so. Due to complicated physics, a sudden change in pressure to gases can cause heat. In some cases, enough heat to ignite a fuel-oxygen mix. Keep your torch away from combustibles. I mean, this one seems obvious. However, okay, it's just obvious. Do not use oxygen from the oxygen cylinder as a substitute for air. If you blow your clothes off with oxygen, the material will actually absorb the oxygen. If a spark or other ignition source comes in contact with your clothes, you'll go up in flames. If you want to have a bonfire, go camping. Never use flammable liquids such as oil or gas around or on your equipment. Don't handle your equipment with greasy hands or gloves. It's just a recipe for disaster. Speaking of recipes, that looks delicious. Save some for me, guys. Don't use regulators or pressure gauges from an oxygen cylinder on a cylinder containing fuel, or vice versa. This could cause a mix of fuel and oxygen in a place you don't want them mixing. Always turn off your torch, regulators, hose, and cylinders when not in use. Regularly use a soap and water solution to check the threaded connections at the torch, hoses, and regulators to be certain none are leaking. In summary, David, read the instructions, follow all the safety precautions, keep your tools, gear, and supplies in good working order, and maintain and clean them regularly. Develop and follow safe work habits and never cut corners, and you should be good to go.